Welcome back to the University of Queensland School of Architecture Introductory Series to Grasshopper and Rhino. We're going to continue with this routine, and I'm going to concentrate on the facade at this stage. Now if you want to pick up the exercise from here, it'll be ExampleTower stage 3. I'm starting to get quite a bit of mess of lines and so on through here, so what I might do is I'm going to be working with a loft of the curves on each of these facades. So I might actually collect these curves in a canister, and so that we can just, I guess, see what the hell it is that we're doing without having too much spaghetti all over the place. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'm going to collect the curves from further upstream. So I'm going to do the north. I'm going to work from the north and then go in a counterclockwise direction around there. So I'm going to pick up my northern facade first, pop that into there. I'm going to pick up my western facade through here. Pick up my southern facade through here. And then finally my eastern facade through here. So I'm just using my scroll wheel to quickly scroll in and out. So I'm going to do the wire display as hidden so that it's not getting too unwieldy, and then I'm going to put a group around that and call that that's actually northern facade. Oops. Control G, group, that'll be western facade. Going to hide the line on here. Group. This will be the southern facade. And then if we, come on, wide display hidden, group, and then this will be the eastern facade. Cool. Okay, and as we've been doing in the past, it's just a very simple loft command, and the option here we're going to do is a straight. We'll go straight because that'll give us a nice sort of tight loft to the geometries. So get those all queued up there. Curves, curves, curves in there, and curves in there. Okay, so we got a bit of shrink wrap onto our facade, and I'm going to deconstruct these into a surface so that we can mesh them and put a like a representation of mullions onto there, but also as a surface. And as we start to break up those surfaces, we could start to look at how, for example, to extract the edges of the mesh to make a subframe for the facade, although we're not going to go to that extent in this exercise. But it's to get it to that point, it's just a simple it's to deconstruct the BREP, which is just here, and we've done this in previous, I think in the Twisted Tower, we deconstructed the BREP so that we could get a mesh, and then we'll pop those in through there. Okay, now what we'll do is we'll get a mesh. Now we'll get a mesh from a surface through there. We'll copy that through there. Okay, for this one here, let's just set up a number slider over here. Actually, we'll do that 20, because what I want to do is set up a number of mullions per bay. We don't want 100, so let's just dial that back to, say, 12. Okay, and this is going to be a multiplier when we get into the V value through there. So we'll get a multiplier. Where's multiplication? So we'll connect this into here, and the surface will be the faces from here, and there's a default number through there, so I'm just going to turn off that loft so I can see what's going on. And number of mullions will be a factor of these columns multiplied by the number of mullions per bay. So in fact what I'll do is I'll pull up the rounded number up through here, pop that in there, and that should go into our V value. So we've got quite a number of mullions there, so we'll just sort of dial that back to a more reasonable number. Okay. Okay, so what we've got here is the surface over the whole thing, and so what it's actually doing, the number of U values is 5, which is corresponding to these here. So in fact what we're going to have to do is put in a U value equivalent to the number of floors minus 1, because we know if we do one too many, then it's kind of like the columns all over again. So we'll get a number 1 through there. So that goes in there. We'll get a number from our number of floors, which is in through here. Oops, come on. Down into there. And that will be our U. So that should then, then there's a U value at every floor. And okay, so that means that we've got a reasonably consistent facade. I will do the same for the sides here, but I'm suspecting there might be a bit of difficulty with this here, so let's just see what we get. So I'm going to do a multiplication here, and again that will be, because we're on our western facade, the number will be equivalent to the number of shear walls on this side, so that will pop in the top. We'll use the same division through there, and that will go into there, and we'll pop the curves into here and that into there, and we can see similar sort of thing happening here. So I wonder if we put that into there, that's actually not going to help, and I think the reason is because it's picking up from that point there where the bend is. So in fact I'm going to have to dial down the number of horizontals to just 1 division, and then that should clear up that issue through there. Okay, so the 1 division will be just at that bend, and then we should see the mullions raking up, so they'll be spaced closer together. So the number of mullions is consistent across the top and the bottom, it's just that they'll start to go in diagonally with, yeah, you can see them bending across there and getting smaller and smaller. So in reality, we're not really sure whether they would do that as a construction method, because it means that all of these pieces of glass will be different, which would be a coordination nightmare. But for the sake of this exercise, I'm just going to leave it like that. Leave the video just here, and we'll pick it up. I'll clean this up and finish this off. And what I'm going to do is then introduce a lift core on the side through here. So we'll see you for that.